Welcome back to the show. Today we launch a new monthly series with ARK, the Association to Rescue Critters, an organization that makes it their mission to rehabilitate wildlife that has been either injured or orphaned. But there are a lot of misconceptions when it comes to our interactions with animals that can sometimes make a dire situation worse. We want to thank Ruth, Jared, and Zero, the barred owl from ARK, who are joining us today. Help us understand how we can truly make a difference here. Welcome everybody to the show.
Thank you for having us.
I'm so impressed. Just such a professional. Such a professional. Thank you, Zero. Now, let's get a little introduction. What is ARK and what do you do?
We're a wildlife rehabilitation center. We rescue, rehabilitate, and return to the wild injured and orphaned wildlife. And as part of that, we have education programs that we take into the schools, festivals, anywhere they'll invite us, giving us a chance to educate people, because it's so important that people do understand, so it's easier for them to help the animals that are in trouble.
Absolutely. So that's a perfect segue to my next question. How can we actually help? Because I know a lot of times we just want to do something, but sometimes that's not the right call. So what is a common misconception you see people have all the time?
So a lot of people want to help, but they think they'd have to be like hands-on. And it is easy to help without being hands-on. Simple things like not using rat poisoning in your home, not throwing food out the window when you're in your car. If you throw an apple core out the window while you're driving, a mammal of some sort is going to come into the road and get that, and then birds like Zero are going to get hit. We had upwards of 17 barred owls at once last year in the winter time, just because they were scavenging the road looking for food. And then another thing is fishermen and hunters, if they use lead-free products, that's a lot less lead that's going into nature. We get, almost every eagle we have has some sort of lead poisoning. We got a duck in the other day that was poisoned.
That was something I saw on the website, was the difference between a bald eagle, healthy, happy, and vibrant, and one suffering from lead poisoning. And it is awful. It is awful to see. It's
heartbreaking, and we can do something about it. We just need to educate people. It's not we're saying don't hunt. No. We're saying there's ways to not leave lead in gut piles or in places in the woods where any of the raptors can go after them, or the ducks and the geese with lead sinkers and lures and stuff that have lead on them, and it's absorbed into their bloodstream and it kills them.
And that's the thing. Here in northern Michigan, we appreciate our natural resources so much, and it can't be just the natural resources that you enjoy. So take that extra step, go lead-free when it comes to hunting and fishing. Don't use poison to kill the mice.
Absolutely.
It's absolutely doable. I was dealing with a mouse issue in my own home recently and found there was no additional charge to use the non-poisonous method, and it worked fantastically.
Zero here eats 3 mice a day, so he'll eat 1,000 mice a year in your backyard.
So we need to get more owls in our backyards. That's how we solve this problem, folks. Now, what should someone actually do? They come across an injured animal. It's obviously very stressful. People want to help in that moment, but what's the best way to handle a situation like that?
If you have the ability to try to get a hold of a wildlife rehabilitator, that's because we can guide you from the minute if it's hit alongside the road, how to safely get it into your car so it can be at least headed in the direction of a wildlife rehabber. Most of the time a cardboard box, unless you're talking a bigger animal.
Oh yeah.
But a cardboard box with holes poked in it before you put the animal in, and just giving it some ventilation, paper towel in the bottom, something so it doesn't slide around. But the animals are, by that time, if they're injured as badly as they usually are if they're hit by a car, then they're out of it.
Yeah.
they're pretty easy to work with if you know what you're doing. So if you
Exactly.
can get a hold of a rehabber, they can guide you. That's
Perfect.
huge.
Now, introduce us to Zero here. Tell us a little bit about him, Jared.
So Zero came in last season, a brand new baby. He had been found at the base of a tree. There were remnants of his siblings, but he was the only one that was alive. And it was obvious that he couldn't see. He had some major swelling in his ears. He will actually kind of let me show you now. I've worked with him so long.
Oh, wow.
He's got some giant old ears.
Hey, you get out of
So,
my ear, guy.
We had later found out, we took him to the optometrist, and he has lesions in the back of his eyes that are indicative of West Nile virus.
Oh.
So he had gotten West Nile virus, fallen out of the tree, hit his head on every branch on the way down, and he cannot see. He is flighted, but he cannot see at all.
And that's why he's the perfect educational ambassador.
He can hear, he can gauge different noises around and kind of get a map of what's going on. The facial disc funnels all the noise to where he would be able to hear a mouse under the snow. He could hear its heartbeat.
And his beak is so, I've never seen a beak like that before.
So
it almost curves back in on itself.
His beak is too long. I actually have some classes next week on beak coping. It's something that we've been working on together, but he's a little nervous about it too. I have to put a Dremel on there, and it's kind of, it's not super fun for everybody.
Scary.
No.
We actually worked on it a little bit this morning, but
Now, what are you spraying him
this is just
with?
water. Sometimes these guys overheat, especially his area is temperature controlled. It doesn't change.
Oh.
So when it's here, it's a little bit warm. Plus, it's a little bit of a distraction away from everything. He can't see fully, but I'm sure he can, like, sensitive to light.
Yeah.
Just different things. So I kind of like to let him know that things are a little bit normal. It's something consistent that he's used to.
Exactly. Everything's okay, little buddy.
Yes, he does very well. Barred owls actually preen each other. So if you look, when I do this, he
loves it. He loves it. Now, how can people help with your mission? I know if they keep an eye out, they see an injured animal, to give you a call. But if they want to be more proactive, they want to lend a hand and help with what you're doing,
We
how
are
can they do
always
that?
looking for volunteers. Each fall we do a volunteer drive. Even when we're not, we're accepting new volunteers always. There is a permitting process that goes involved.
This is specialty
Yes.
volunteering here.
But we are always looking for people with their natural talents too. People who, for like an accountant or a photographer.
Sorry, we're showing some footage of some of the little.
The bobcat.
Look at the baby bobcat. Oh,
So explain the bobcat.
This fawn was just released. The bobcat was found in Grand Rapids by they were Boy Scouts.
wow.
Yeah. Actually, that bobcat did end up for placement. We had 17 groundhogs this season, 17 baby groundhogs.
You have possums, all different kinds of
Two otters
birds.
right now.
Equal Opportunity Rehab Center.
We did get
tell
x-rays on a juvenile bobcat this morning. She was hit by a car.
At 10 o'clock last night, I get a call from somebody out in the parking lot that had just seen a juvenile bobcat get hit by a car.
No.
16-pound juvenile bobcat, but it was
That's a big bobcat.
She's big.
and so it was down the hill from the ARK. So I ran down, dragged it off the road, checked to make sure it was still alive, went back to get a carrier that the lock jammed on. So I shoved the carrier back and put him against the gate, the tailgate, and the carrier to hold him in place. But he was out. He was hurt so badly. Jared took him to the vet this morning, and they did x-rays, and at least it looks like nothing is badly broken enough that he won't be able to be released.
That's great.
Unless we
news.
get some scrambled brain.
Sometimes it's a head injury.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's just
head injuries, and there's nothing to do about that.
But right now he looks good. She looks good.
And that is, I'm sure that's always the goal.
Yes.
Is to get them back to where they can go back to having a normal,
Absolutely.
wild life.
Yeah.
That is.
So where can people go to get more information on what you do at ARK, but also, hopefully, give some time for volunteering.
We
To help
always-
you out, Zero.
Yeah.
He's a little bit like, we always have, our Facebook stays pretty up to date. We try to keep our website up to date. We'll be doing a little bit better about that. We will be establishing a Patreon soon, so we will be able to put out some like private content and
Gotcha.
hopefully accept some donations. We do run entirely on donations. We're getting ready to, we launched our online merchandise store through Printful so people could purchase there, and we will get the proceeds from that.
So there's a lot of ways that the folks at home can help.
Absolutely. And if they want to
Absolutely.
come and
Rescue
work with the
critters.
animals, we can train them to do that as well.
Yes.
And what an amazing opportunity right here in our own backyard to be able to help out little boys like Zero here.
We need any kind of help that people have to offer, skills that they might have.
We're always looking for private release property.
Yes. I mean,
in
there's
every
so many
county
ways
possible.
to be involved.
So many. So just reach out to ARK, Ruth and Jared here, and get all the information that you need to help out saving the little critters right here in northern Michigan. We're going to make sure all the links you need to go to their website, connect with their merchandise store, head to their Facebook. It's all going to be available after the show today on 9and10news.com. Ruth, Jared, Zero, thank you all so much for coming in today.
Thank you
Really appreciate
very
it.
much.
Really appreciate it. Bye,
Thank you.
buddies.